We would like to welcome you to our City Council meeting on Thursday, December 18th, 2025. I am Mayor Sherry Bingham, and I will be conducting this meeting. We are going to have a Pledge of Allegiance by Councilmember Hill and then a reverence by Councilmember Fowers. Thank you. We are going to go ahead with our public comments. Is there anyone that would like to make a public comment? If you do, you have 3 minutes. State your name. Seeing no public comments, we will move on to the approval of the revised minutes dated August 7th. Council, hopefully you've had a chance to look at these. Is there any questions, concerns on these minutes?
So I'll just mention that Jamie updated the minutes from August 7th. The paragraph in question was again section B. It says now that legal counsel advised the city council to table the motion until they are ready to make a motion. So with that advisement, I just wanted to clarify that the council was still deliberating at that point where we had advisement from our legal counsel to table it. And it felt like the meeting just moved on at that point. Like the council didn't have the opportunity to make a motion, even though we were advised to table the motion. So anyway, that's pretty close to what happened. I just wanted to make it clear that the council was not given an opportunity to make a motion on that date and that time because of the circumstances of what happened. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from August 7th, 2025.
Okay, the motion was made by Councilmember Hill. Is there a second? Second is made by Councilmember Fowers. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Okay, that motion carries. Okay, then our next one is the minutes from November 6, 2025. There was one correction I saw, and the name, it's on page 3, is Cassie Brown instead of Cassie Belt, it looks like, or Belt. I crossed it through now. Belt. So it's Cassie Brown.
So there was Cassie Brown on page 2.
Oh, so
I
is
think
this a different
That's a
person
different
then?
Cassie, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, then that wasn't a correction. Then I apologize. I just saw that and thought it was okay. Then I didn't see any. Does anybody else have any corrections?
I didn't see anything.
Okay, if not, is there someone that would like to make that motion?
I'll make a motion for approval of minutes dated November 6, 2025.
Okay, that motion was made by Councilmember Wilcox. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second is made by Councilmember Hill. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries. Okay, the next thing then, we do not have any public hearings, discussions items, so we have some action items. There were a couple of ordinances that I think were asked at our last meeting for our attorney to work on. So has everyone had a chance to read through these ordinances? Any discussion from council?
Corrected or changed? Is anybody else?
I know our attorney, Darren, you mentioned that or I better turn that on. Make sure that the city council is the legislative body, that we need to play a role in that as well. I think the conflict that we have is that we have some members of the community that it appears there could be a conflict of interest in leasing these properties. So, so I think it needs to go out to bid. And let other members of the community have an opportunity to access that as well. So, I didn't see any provisions for that in here. So it looked like the mayor was gonna just go ahead and appoint after they got a fair market value lease. However, I think we probably had to let it go out to bid for, have a public hearing and let other people have an opportunity to do so. So I just so you have comments on that or?
I have looked at different cities and how different cities do that. I've talked to a few council members about that process, and my advice is still the same. I think that is odd in the fact that the city would want to decide who they lease to. They want to be able to make the decision who they lease to and be able to kick them out if they want. And
Why was that odd? The city would want to do that.
because they're the owners of the property, and if they get somebody on the property that they don't want to have the property, they should be able to make that decision. And if we're going through a bidding process, specifically for the leasing, then that could be a problem. It could end up being with somebody that they don't want to have the property, potentially.
Sure. But here's, I guess, my biggest concern. And
Right.
then the new council can do what they want with it.
Could I just address one of your other comments first before, I just don't want to move on too far. With conflicts of interest, I know that, and nepotism has kind of been brought forward with these processes. Conflicts of interest are covered by the state code. And there's certain procedures. If it's disclosed, a lot of times that covers the conflict of interest, and the conflict of interest is not necessarily an issue unless it comes to vote, or if it's an issue here. If somebody within here has a conflict with that issue and that property came up, then they wouldn't be able to vote on it.
Right. Well, I think that's the whole issue right here.
Okay.
So if you look at our code, Hooper City Code,
Mhm.
rules of ethic and conduct, the conduct of interest, the city council member to whom private benefits may come as a result of the city council action should not be a participant in the action if the private benefit may be direct or indirect. The private benefit may create a material personal gain or provide a distinct advantage to relations or friends or to groups and associations which hold some share of a person's loyalty. So I think we're in a super gray area,
Mhm.
probably more in dark gray. So I think that needs to be brought to light. I personally, it doesn't matter to me as long as the property's taken care of.
Right.
And in my opinion, I think it hasn't been as far as weeds and stuff. So I just want to bring up the point, and the new council can do what they want, but there is definitely, because I know of other people that want access to that as well, and they've been denied it. So it doesn't look very good. So if we're gonna go by our city codes and that, then the true way to do it is the legislative body, which is the city council, should decide who does that and not the mayor in this certain situation.
And I don't disagree that that's a proposal that could be made and language could be made to have that be the process for leasing properties. I don't disagree. I think that would have to come down to the proper legislative acts to have that happen. So, and the code that you would want adopted for that.
Well, it's already there. Code's already here for a conflict of interest.
Oh.
Our Hooper code.
I think
So if we're following this code, the process that you have outlined here is not gonna work. There's a conflict there.
okay.
So
I can-
that's my point.
And I can
Like I
definitely
say-
look into that and do some research for sure.
So
Any other discussion?
This city property. So, where this is outlined that the mayor may lease an interest in real property owned by the city. It sounds like that lies directly with the mayor,
So,
with
correct.
city properties.
That's how it would be, is my understanding that that's how it's been done with the city. And there's no code in place for Hooper City for that. For leasing property, there's nothing that's been implemented.
I think at that point, then we'd refer to the Utah code, which talks about the legislative body. You know, surplus property and those kind of things. It talks about leasing and selling property, and that would fall under the legislative branch, which would be the council. So I think what Dale's saying, if we don't have a code, then we should refer to the Utah code.
The executive function has been in the mayor, that the executive function of leasing out the property. So if you're trying to insinuate that it doesn't require the full vote of the council, it would require the full vote of the council to shift those powers.
I'm not insinuating anything. I'm just interpreting.
Okay.
Interpreting what's in front of me, what's in
Right.
black and white. So
If you guys have language, I'm happy to propose this. The reason why I propose this is because one of the council members reached out to me and wanted me to propose this language. So this is because of,
if Ryan's okay with it, then I guess I'll go along. So.
Well, and I totally see what you're saying, because I've been reading state code as well this last couple of weeks, and perhaps we need to look at the state code and interpret what really needs to be done in Hooper City, because there's also other cities ordinances and codes that refer to this exact subject.
Mhm.
Clearfield, Harrisville, Morgan, there's 3 or 4 that we've looked at. And I can share all that with you, that maybe we need to adopt something similar to another city or cities that falls in line with the state code more than just going out our own and doing something abstract. If that makes sense.
well, it doesn't, and I've looked at the state code in this as well. So I'd be happy to look at any language from any other city. And if that's what you're wanting to implement, I don't have a here or there.
For sure. So, I mean, I think we still take a look at it if, if everybody's in agreement, we can table this and look at it again.
But did you mention specific? Because I love Clearfield's code. They're my favorite.
They're your favorite?
Absolutely. So Clearfield City Code I'm serious, is the best city code that is written in the state.
1-12A-4.
So if you have one specifically for them, I'd be happy to, if that's how you're wanting to implement it, I'd be happy to go off that.
We'll take a closer look at it and decide.
Right.
So, yeah, for sure.
And then what type of government is Clearfield City?
They're 6-member.
6-member, and does the mayor vote or not vote?
It would be just for a tiebreaker purposes.
Same as us.
Yeah, same. Yes.
So I'll make a motion to table this ordinance and look at Clearfield and other cities' code in conjunction with the state code. So just so we get this correct and get it right.
Second that.
So the motion has been made by Councilmember Hill to table this.
You have it just, sorry.
The second has been made by Councilmember Flowers. Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Okay, then the next ordinance is the ordinance number 2025-06 on appointment in terms of the Office for the Planning Commission. So again, I believe this was one, Councilmember Hill, you've been working on with the attorney.
So, last time we talked about, creating a method to appoint planning commission members, which specifically talked about forming the committee, that talks about in paragraph 3. So that committee consists of the mayor, member of the city council, city planner, planning commission chair, and 1 member of the planning commission. The part that I had a little bit of concern with was paragraph 5, where let me just read you our current paragraph 5 in the code. It says a member may be removed from the commission by the city council for good cause after a hearing, if a hearing is requested by the member. So it's been changed to read, members may be removed from the commission upon the recommendation of the mayor, the city council, or planning commission, and upon a vote of a majority of the city council. And then it talks about filling the vacancies. And I'm not sure that I want to change paragraph 5 from what we currently have. Because number 1, it doesn't even talk about good cause, or I would call just cause, for removing a member of the planning commission. And so I would recommend that we strike paragraph 5 and leave it current with what is already in our code, and go ahead and adopt the rest. That's my comment on it.
I agree with that, Ryan. I think we should keep the language the same as we have it. I have a little bit of an issue with item number 3 and the selection panel. I remember back in February 6th, where we established kind of that the mayor and the city council collectively would choose the planning commission members. And in here, we've brought in, and no offense to anybody, but we've brought in the city planner, we brought in 2 planning commission members. And that's originally not how it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be the city council collectively with the mayor as a city council. So it wouldn't be a problem to have them help facilitate, but as far as making the decision, because there again, you're giving, elected officials powers to someone that was appointed if you allow a planning commission member or, someone else to make that decision. And I think all 5 or all 6 council members should have an equal say. So if we continue and go ahead and have this interview process, which is fine, I think that each city council member should have the opportunity to reach out to the applicant through phone call, or if they want to meet in person, they can, and interview them themselves, just have a conversation. So we all have an educated, decision instead of just what this body does. So I do have a little bit of a problem with bringing in people that were, because basically you're given the powers of the city council to appointed people. And if we want to do that, I guess we can, but I don't agree with it.
You're right. We're empowering appointed officials. How do you feel about it, Darren?
I think that, as we discussed last time, it's a complicated process, and I think Deborah had an idea as well that it was a complicated process. This is the discussion that we had that we wanted to go this route. I think that they're not making the ultimate decision, the council is. They are having an interview process and then sending up a name to the council. And then the council is ultimately the one that decides whether that person individually is appointed,
That, I get that, but
right?
that still doesn't allow the council, they're just taking that recommendation.
Mhm.
So in this language, they have no communication with the applicant. So, yeah, I mean, I would be fine if it was just the mayor and the city council member and the city planner. That's fine, but when you bring council members or commissioners in, I think that's a problem.
Oh, so you would be fine if just the,
Yeah,
if it was just the three?
the mayor and a city council person and the planner. And then the other council members, I believe, should reach out to that applicant through a phone call and interview them themselves. Or if they want to meet with them, if they have the time, they can do that. It doesn't need to be complicated, and that's not. I remember when, I mean, I did the same thing. I met with the city council in an open meeting and filled out an application and spoke with the mayor and kind of, and it wasn't complicated.
I could think of some proposed language unless you have some proposed
I
language.
don't have any proposed language now.
One idea, I guess, is when the meeting where you take a vote, we could have an opportunity for just the council to question in the public meeting. I know that's not very comfortable,
Right.
but that is, I mean, I was asked some questions in a public meeting, correct? So, that's an option, or maybe there would be some, I would have to work with the language of just allowing the council to be able to call and have a separate interview, but I'd have to have some proposed language.
And we've done that before. We've had the applicant come and stand at the podium and the council has asked them questions. We've opened it up to questions. Yes, it's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. I know that a lot
But-
of cities do not like that,
Mhm.
but
My opinion on that would be to do it before the meeting. Because if you're not happy with the answer, maybe they're just not seeing, they're not explaining themselves the way, maybe they're not explaining the way they would represent the city in a way that the council member would like them to. Maybe there are just some differences, and some way, if we could get all that. Some way, if we could get all of that worked out, before. These interviews were done before, so that when they come to the council, we pretty well know who's going to be selected. So is there a way to put that type of language in this, that if, it just seems like if we're going to make a decision to approve someone, we should know something about them, right? The body that's going to make the decision to approve them should know something about them. How do we go about getting that information?
I mean, I think the information could be provided by any person that was in this interview, could have discussions with you. Everything that comes out of the interview process could be shared with you. That's a procedure as well. I think that would be the whole point of the procedure, but it's I agree that as you guys all share that responsibility and making sure that it's a efficient procedure to get this done, it's complicated. This is what me and Ryan came up with, so.
So what if we just change paragraph 3 to exclude planning commission chair and the member of the planning commission, just made it the mayor, the city council member and the city planner? And then change paragraph 5 to what we used to have on our original code. Would everybody be okay with that?
Do you have any questions about 5? I'd be happy to explain my reasoning for 5, if you have a question.
Well, sure, if you want to explain.
I think that language is a holdover from what the code used to be, and that's when the mayor had the appointing powers. And then the council could only remove those appointed members if there was good cause. That good cause language is not a common with cities. It actually creates another layer of liability and procedure that's not necessary for appointed individuals. The reason why I say that is it's your discretion. That's your power to appoint them. Why shouldn't you have the power to remove them? You should have the power to do so. It's because you're the elected person, not them. They're the appointed person. So, and that's the language that was in, because the city that was talked about last meeting was Far West. And they had that, and I saw that, and I liked it. So for that reason, it just matches your authority to appoint and your authority to remove. But that's the reason. That's the reason why that was in there.
And I understand that, but I guess my concern is that simply because we don't like somebody, any one of those people can say, oh, I want to remove so-and-so just because, there's no good cause or just cause anymore. It's just because I don't like them.
But you are the elected official,
Right.
and you were voted in by the people to make those decisions. So
That's correct.
that-
It just doesn't seem right to me. Anyway,
sorry, I just wanted to sit.
So, in other words, so we're back to paragraph 5 again now. I think if any one of us had a reason to think someone should be removed, maybe that person doesn't even know. I think they should have the ability to come back and say, no, I want to explain myself. I want to explain why. Explain themselves. And so that was more like what it used to say in paragraph 5 instead of what we have here.
And certainly it comes down to, it's a policy decision. So
Sure.
this comes down to what you want. If that's the procedure that you want, I'm just saying that is an extra level of procedure and liability. That's what I'm explaining as the attorney.
So the way it reads now, either one of those, but the mayor solely on her own, the city council, or say if the planning commission doesn't want them, according to this, the planning commission can remove them. According to this, it says or.
But they can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
The person that gets rid of them would be the entire council, the majority of the council.
Yeah, just the
What-
majority of the council.
Well, it says it says members may be removed from the commission upon the recommendation of the mayor, the city council, or planning commission. And upon a vote for a majority of the city council.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying that it's your authority to appoint. It would be your authority to remove.
Right.
But
and I guess what I'm thinking is the mayor is already a member of the city council
Right.
and the planning commission is appointed and shouldn't have that power to begin with to remove a member of the planning commission, correct?
again, they're not removing. They're bringing the name up to you. They're suggesting it up to the
Like,
council.
She,
Correct.
I say we keep the current one.
that's what I say too.
Okay, any other discussion, or is there a motion that would like to be made?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 2025-06. Changing the language in paragraph 3 to omit planning commission chair and one member of the planning commission. And then paragraph 5, retain the current code language in this particular ordinance.
Okay, the motion was made by Councilmember Hill. Is there a second?
I'd second that.
Second is made by Councilmember Fowers. Any other discussion? All in favor?
I
Aye.
Any
It's
opposed?
not a roll call vote on this if there's not,
think it is a roll call
yeah.
because it's an ordinance.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for reminding me of that. So we'll go Councilmember Fowers,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilcox, Councilmember Hill.
I
Okay, then the ordinance motion carries. Okay, the last thing then is adjournment. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Meeting's adjourned.
This will be-